welcome to the family here on Purple Mafia. I'm your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Purple Mafia is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. The postseason is upon us. The Vikings are not in it, and there is no Viking news that I can think of or see or imagine, or I don't know. There's just no Viking news right now. So we're keeping our coaches so far. There's some Viking news. I can kind of do the show here. This will be a 2-segment show, so it'll be like a mini segment starting off the main segment, which is just playoff review, preview type of stuff, and then fan interaction, which will probably be very small. I might even do this as a 1-segment shot, honestly. It might be where we're headed at the end of the day. So, yes, Brian Flores has been... the Baltimore Ravens have requested an interview for Brian Flores. We'll see how that turns out. Mike McDaniel was also let go by the Miami Dolphins. I don't think that the Dolphins will be hiring Brian Flores. No, that's obviously safe to say. So we'll have to wait to see how this all turns out. Of course, we didn't get to talk about this last week either, was Mr. John Harbaugh was let go by the Baltimore Ravens. So, yes, that's why there's a job opening. John Harbaugh was let go, and he's kind of waiting things out. There was even talk of rumors out there that just in case the Packers were to let go of LaFleur, because obviously, just in case, say if the Packers were to lose, nudge, nudge, that the Packers position would be of interest to John Harbaugh. But at the moment, that isn't happening. At the moment, of course, Raheem Morris is gone from Atlanta. I believe he was the first to go. And Matt Ryan will be the president of football operations for the Atlanta Falcons. So, all right. Dolphins, Browns, all that. So the Dolphins and Browns are planning to speak to John Harbaugh. Falcons hire Matt Ryan to be the president of football operations. So congratulations, Matt Ryan. That's definitely the franchise. He spent a heavy majority of his career in Atlanta. So, yes, I'm kind of bouncing around. Baltimore Ravens are considered the most attractive position because you have Lamar Jackson and such. We'll have to wait and see. Who knows if Brian Flores will wind up there. Giants are considered fairly attractive. Of course, Babel was let go earlier in the year, and they had the interim position. Who knows? John Harbaugh, that might be an attractive position to go to the play or coach the New York Giants. Cleveland Browns are considered third. This is NFL.com, at least in terms of rankings. Who knows who's going to wind up there? Maybe Mike McDonald. Who knows? Maybe McDonald could wind up in Cincinnati. But no, they're keeping their coach and their GM, which I don't know if Joe Burrow is excited about that. Of course, the Falcons have the opening with Raheem Morris. Kevin Stefanski, yep, he's probably going to get a job, but we'll see. I believe he has a year left in his contract. Who knows if he'll sit out and just collect. And some people might think Harbaugh might do that, but who knows? Both of them are owed money. But yep, Kevin Stefanski, I know Vince Germano out there thinks he sucks. He calls him Crap Stansky or Crap Fansky, something like that. Crap Stansky, I think. I think he's okay. I think he's a decent offensive coach. Some people think he's super good. The Cleveland general manager, they did not handle things very well at all. Just like Atlanta, who, again, that's why Matt Ryan's the president of football, because they got rid of the GM and the coach in Atlanta, and that kind of was what it was. I think we even talked about Raheem Morris's firing on the last episode because of, yeah, it was early. Miami Dolphins, McDaniel was definitely a later one. That was a little surprising, kind of surprising. Then again, was it? I mean, he kind of felt he's doomed to go, and don't forget I told you so. Tua needs to go, too. He's got to go. He's a joke. Talent, yes, but he can't count on him. If you're going to win in the postseason, you might have to win on the road sometimes, and it might be colder than you like. And suck it up, Buttercup, or shut something up. That's what you might want to do. One of the two. Tua is not somebody I would invest a penny in. I have no interest. He can go to HE double hockey sticks as far as I'm concerned. If I was a coach or a general manager in the NFL, I would have no interest in Tua. They come up, would you like to? No. Why not? You know why. Don't even ask. Seriously, the money, the money, the inconsistency, the injury prone, the attitude. I will pass. Get out of here. Get out of here. We have no interest in Tua. The Dolphins did hire one of the Packers front office members to become basically their leader there, their general manager. So congratulations to them. Arizona Cardinals are another opening again, and was a pretty good offensive coach, but unfortunately he is no longer. Jonathan Gannon, by the way, was fired after 3 seasons. So just I don't know, just nothing worked out. They were only 3-14. They were kind of screwed. Tennessee Titans do have they had a number 1 pick in the draft last year. They'll be picking very high again. That's an opening, of course. The post Mike Vrabel era has not gone so well for the Tennessee Titans. The Mike Vrabel era in Tennessee just might end up being the best there is. The Raiders are a joke, a mess. They let go of Pete Carroll after 1 year. Yuck. Geno Smith is 37 years old. He was good in Seattle, not good in Las Vegas. I hope I didn't call him Oakland. It's been an absolute joke. Max Crosby might be on his way out, so we'll have to wait and see. He was not happy with the way they shut him down. They were literally virtually tanking, and he wasn't happy about it. So we'll see what happens with Max Crosby and the Las Vegas Raiders if he winds up on the Patriots or something. Who knows where he's going to wind up. So Pete Carroll, I would hope he should just move on. I would retire. No disrespect. Tom Brady is a minority owner for the Oakland or Las Vegas Raiders. We'll see how that turns out. And just about everybody would tell you his analysis is much better than people have been giving him credit. That's for sure. He's gotten better this past year, so good for Tom Brady. That's looked on as the weakest of the 8 positions available. Giants, I guess, just because it's New York, I guess. I mean, it is what it is, but we'll have to wait and see. Jackson Dart's intriguing. We'll have to wait and see. But there have been no hirings at all yet, so it's been a week of, not turmoil, but limbo. Let's get to the playoffs now. So the opening game of the postseason was the Los Angeles Rams visiting the Carolina Panthers because, the Rams were in the same position the Vikings were in last year, not winning their division despite a pretty good record. They won 13 games this year, and just about everybody's picking them to win the NFC, except for me, I guess. Not that I want the Seattle Seahawks to win, but I think they're the favorites. Believe me, I don't want them to win a single game. I hope the Niners beat them. So, yes, the LA Rams was a back-and-forth battle. Carolina put up a hell of a fight. In fact, my buddy Tony at work definitely wanted the Carolina Panthers to win. Bryce Young had his moments. Ultimately, though, it just wasn't meant to be. He missed on some key opportunities, wound up passing about 50%, slightly over, and had a interception fairly late that kind of wrapped things up, and just didn't work out. Panthers played great in the game. Looked like they maybe had it. Great drive by Bryce Young, throwing his only touchdown pass in the postseason, but ultimately giving the Rams the ball back. A guy by the name of Matthew Stafford, who might be the MVP of the league this year, with a whole minute left, was a fatal mistake. And it's not even a mistake, it's just a fatal twist of circumstance, and that's just kind of how it wound up. Jay Coker, Mr. Coker there in Carolina, amazing game. Jalen Coker, you could call him Jay or Jalen Coker. What the hell just happened? Everything just changed over. 134 yards in the air with a touchdown. That one touchdown play, 52-yard play. That put Carolina ahead in this back-and-forth battle. But ultimately the Rams rammed their way to victory. Puka Nacua, again, big moments. Parkinson, big catch for a touchdown late to put the Rams in position to say we're moving on, and you're not. Carolina, great showing, though, and yes, home field advantage does something. And, when you're a 5th seed, despite a way better record, that the fact you're on the road can be a problem. And that happened to Oakland years ago when they were still Oakland. I think they won 12 games that year. It also didn't help that Derek Carr broke his ankle like right before that game practically. And ultimately the Raiders, when they looked actually super promising years ago, kind of ended up not going anywhere. It was too bad. It was a damn shame. It was a doggone shame. But yes, the Rams move on, and we'll talk about who they're going to play later in the preview part. I'm choking to death here. Green Bay Packers visiting the Chicago Bears. Looked like the Bears were junk, lackadaisical. It looked like a frustration, to say the least. Jordan Love was on his game. He was sharp. But as the game progressed, he kind of wasn't as sharp. Wound up only 24 of 46, just about 50% again 4 touchdown passes, though. The Packers looked like the team that showed up, and the Bears looked like the team that didn't show up. Dobbs with 124 yards with 8 catches and a touchdown. Golden with a touchdown. Yep, big one there. Reed and Watson, C.J. Watson, also a touchdown. 4 touchdown passes thrown by Jordan Love. Looked like a good game, but again, started missing as the game progressed. And the kicker started missing. Oh my, did he miss? McManus. It was like one after another. He missed both of his field goals, and he also missed an extra point, which helped cost the Packers the game, and that couldn't have been fun. Yes, the Packers lost in a game where they were pretty much dominating because the Bears scored 25 points. That's right, 25 points in the fourth quarter. And that's, again, in case you were in a cave when this took place. An amazing comeback by the Chicago Bears. The Packers even scored another touchdown along the way. Jordan Love's 4th touchdown pass. This was late in the fourth quarter as the Bears were mounting their comeback, 21-16 after being down 21-3. It felt like they're dead and gone. Jordan Love's Romeo Dobbs touchdown play. But then, McManus did make his extra point attempt. But as things progressed, McManus started missing attempt after attempt after opportunity. Could have still put the Bears away despite their crazy fourth quarter, but ultimately it just was not meant to be. Third quarter was just kind of a back and forth battle, and the fourth was, bear down Chicago Bears, wasn't it? Caleb Williams had the golden opportunity to drive his team down the field, and he did. And Caleb Williams wins his playoff debut in very impressive fashion. People definitely starting to respect Caleb Williams, more of a kind of guy that could be a franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears, which they don't get to say very much in Chicago. Williams struggled early on. He was pretty lousy. A couple of interceptions. 361 yards, though, as the game progressed, as things started to kind of settle in. And the Bears started realizing, hey, we should be the better team. We are at home. This is the Midway, whatever. We are the monsters of the Midway. Why not get this done? It's amazing, though. I mean, quarterback after quarterback with mediocre completion percentages. He's 50% was Caleb Williams. Again, he was a mess early, but got that clutch gene as the game progressed. The win certainly didn't help. I mean, obviously it didn't help anybody. That's why you saw some mistakes. That's why you saw some misses by the kickers and the quarterbacks missing in some golden opportunities. Loveland was pretty damn good with 8 catches, 137 yards, helping move the chains for the Biffs, as he did not get in the end zone, but he did get 6 first downs along the way. DJ Moore, an absolutely wonderful player with 6 catches and 64 yards, as again, the monsters of the Midway have a 25-point fourth quarter and escape the Packers. And again, they still may have lost the game if McManus was making his kicks, but he did not. That was 7 points left on the board by the Packers, with 2 kicks missed and an extra point. That is 7 full points, which would have been a final score of 34-31. A 25-point fourth quarter would not have been enough for the Bears to beat the Packers, if not for that, which is pretty weird when you think about that. Usually a 25-point quarter, you're probably going to win the game, but sometimes it just still doesn't work out. Man, Steve Mariucci looks old. That's Steve Mariucci. I was like, it can't be. My God, he looks old. But I suppose, I mean, he coached a long time ago, didn't he? Coached the Niners, the Lions, and then was like, bleep it after that. Man, he looks old. NFL Network, yep. Shows you something, doesn't it? We're all aging like crazy. Heck, I started doing Purple Mafia on January 28th. Not Purple Mafia, but Palladino Live, January 28th, 2008. And then it was like early April 2008 for Purple Mafia. But either way, be it Purple Mafia or Palladino Live, anybody born on the day the show started, they'd be a senior in high school already. Wrap your head around that. It's pretty wild. Enough to way to make it about you, Joey, right? But no, it is pretty crazy when you think about that, though. But great comeback by the Bears, and they will be hosting the next round because they're the number 2 seed. And if so, how the Seattle Seahawks get upset by the San Francisco Kids. San Francisco surviving injuries, 49ers, I guess. They would be hosting the NFC Championship game again like they did in 2010. Unfortunately, they ended up losing that one to the Green Bay Packers in a weird game. Just weird. Low scoring, like who's going to get it done kind of a game. It was like the 2 bottom seeds in the conference, basically, that were, upset people along the way, the Packers and the Bears. Packers ended up winning the whole enchilada against the semi-dynasty Steelers, remember? Oh, goody. Well, it's the last Super Bowl they've ever won, and the last time they've been to the Super Bowl. But it was a good game. It's a good game for the Packers in the Super Bowl anyway. That Bears-Packers game was ugly and boring as hell. This one was not. It was ugly and boring as hell, but then when things started to kind of turn as you got into the fourth quarter, it was pretty fun, to say the least. LaFleur was pretty much beside himself. So I do believe Ben Johnson also uttered the words "F the Packers," which probably wasn't all that necessary. I don't know. It's great. Thank you for that anecdote. The Jacksonville Jaguars, also another team that kind of like that Carolina Panthers thing, where you look at the Bills and you're like, that's a really damn good football team, and it's their chance to get to the Super Bowl maybe with the Chiefs out of the way. But gosh, they're only a 6th seed. What the hell? Jaguars really earned that home field advantage. Great season, 13-4. And they played a hell of a football game to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was a Sunday now. We're done to the Saturday games. Hell of a game by the Jaguars. They absolutely showed up to play. And I don't know, at the end of the day, it's a darn shame. Trevor Lawrence was outstanding. Again, the second interception along the way was, again, a tip pass, and that was like the final play of the game, basically. After that, the Bills went into victory formation. But a crazy back-and-forth battle. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Trevor Lawrence. 18 completions of 30 passes. Washington of Jacksonville, 107 yards and 7 catches. Apologize if my voice sounds a little funky and subtle. It's because it's late. So this is Monday night that I'm recording this right now, because I figure let's just get this show done. Let's talk about this and get this done. And plus it's fresh on the mind and everything. Jaguars again played a hell of a football game offensively and defensively, frustrating the hell out of Josh Allen. What's his name again? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, Josh Allen. He was banged up a bit throughout the game. It was one thing after another for Josh Allen when it came to being banged up and such. Throwing the football, hand on the helmet. The knee got twisted. And I think there was another thing that I'm blanking on. Did he hit his head? What am I blanking on? I can't remember. I believe he hit his head on a play as well. But yes, smashed his hand on a helmet, twisted his knee. But he just hung in there to Josh Allen. And he's going to have to keep doing it. And what's really crazy is this is the first road playoff win for Josh Allen. Because it seemed like every time they were on the road, they're playing the damn Chiefs. And what's even more crazy is the Buffalo Bills have had some really good football teams. They've either had home field advantage, or they were just like a big-time underdog, or they were playing the stupid-ass Chiefs on the road. And they haven't run a road game since the 1992 seasons, so it was like it was always like January 93, not early January, but early 93 AFC Championship game against the Miami Dolphins that I talk about all the time, it seems like. Where the Bills were just simply the better team from start to finish, even though I thought the Dolphins were going to be, but they weren't. I was hoping for Dolphins-Niners, and I think everybody else was too. Like, who wants the frickin' Cowboys? And then the Bills had their dang chance the year before, and they just weren't as good, unfortunately. So, well, they had their chance 2 years before. The Giants' year was the year for the frickin' Bills to win, and Northcutt just missed a kick from it was ridiculous, heartbreaking. It was a terrible kick, and he missed by a mile, and it was pretty much a chip shot kick, and the Bills were clearly the better team, and they lost because he missed a kick. Maybe not clearly. The Giants hung in there enough, and all the credit to them. Josh Allen incredibly sharp for the most part, 28 of 35, awesome. 273 yards, a touchdown again, and surviving one thing after another. The guy was getting banged up. I think it was, like the ankle, obviously hitting his head on the helmet, and then the twisted knee. It's just like, oh man, is this guy going to get through this game even? It was crazy, absolutely crazy. Big play after big play. Josh Allen again getting the ball down the field in those 4th down plays, and keeping the Bills alive, and ultimately driving the team late for the score. As they trailed 24-20, I mean, they had to score a touchdown. There was not going to be an overtime game here unless, say, the Jaguars were able to score a touchdown late. But ultimately, again, Trevor Lawrence had the ball tipped in the air. Good defense by the Bills, but also, again, the ball would have, should have been caught by the Jacksonville receiver, but it was tipped in the air for a classic Kadri Ismail style interception, if you know what I mean. How he always tipped the ball in the air for interceptions, racking up Warren Moon's interception totals. I'm sure Vikings front office appreciated that. They could bring Moon's price down. No, I'm just kidding. No, nobody had liked that because it cost the Vikings golden opportunities during that '94 season. I thought they were a better team than they wound up being, only 10-6. It was just lame, and getting smoked by the Bears' backup quarterback in the first round at home. Yuck, that was bullshit. Pardon my French, that was garbage. I would have considered firing Dennis Green after that game, but they didn't. I probably would have fired Dennis Green after the Cowboys game in '96 when they were getting blown to smithereens by the Cowboys. Remember that? I'd have fired Dennis Green. I would have, but they didn't. Maybe we should have, because '98, take a knee, Denny, take a knee. Yeah, that did not help. Did not help. But anyhow, got to get over that. That was only, 28 years ago. No, I'm not over it at all. I'm still pissed off about it, and I'm not kidding you. 27 years ago, I still won't even watch that. I won't watch that game. I will not watch that game. I can't do it. Falcons and Vikings, it is too painful. It's too painful. I can't watch that. 2009 Saints, can't watch that either. Forget it, man. Nope. Anyhow, I'm sure Jaguars fans are pretty upset about this one. It was a back and forth battle, but the Bills were just better, you know. They were just better. Prater again making his extra points. Yes, we're happy for him. Cam Little, one of the best kickers in the league, and a lot of people thought he was going to kick the Jags into OT, but again, it wasn't meant to be with that interception down the stretch. Buffalo just a little bit better, and don't be surprised if the Buffalo Bills actually do go to the Super Bowl this year, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I am absolutely hoping for a Bills-Patriots AFC title game, and we just might get it because they won't be playing each other in the second round with the way things are set up right now. I mean, raise your hand if you want the Bills to beat the Broncos. Anybody? My hand's raised. Come on. Come on, guys. Raise your hands. Guys and gals out there. Come on. You can't possibly be cheering for the Broncos in this one. You just can't. Next, please. San Francisco visiting, not hosting, but visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, a better record, a superior team, I think, than this Eagles team was this year. They're basically like the Bears with green colors. It's all because the stupid Seahawks had such a good record that you got teams like the Rams and the 49ers going on the road. But the problem with the Niners is injury after injury after injury after injury after injury. Now you got George Kittle with probably an Achilles. Like, that's just wonderful. Like, my God, like, it's too much. Injury after freaking injury. Like Joey Bosa. I mean, one important either solid player or really good player after another with injury after injury. Edwards of the linebackers and E.J. Edwards of the Bears looked like at first I thought he had I thought he had an ACL, but no, it was a broken ankle. It was weird, but it was a non-contact thing where it's just like, pop! It was like, oh, shit. Pardon my French. I didn't even mean to say that just now. But, yeah, he was just kind of moving around, getting in position, and like, pop. It's like, geez, that sucks. I bet a lot of people thought it was an Achilles or an ACL. It looked like an ACL from what I saw. And then it's like, no, the ankle just went down. It just went all the way, like, ugh, nasty. So, I mean, it wasn't disgusting like one of the baseball players years ago sliding into second base and his foot was like pointing the wrong way, basically. I mean, yeah, I'll pass on that. That is heartbreaking. Jennings had a 29-yard touchdown play. Again, one of those trick plays by the Niners. I'm a Kyle Shanahan fan, and a lot of people think, oh, he can't win the big one. Yeah, well, he's won a lot. Kyle Shanahan deserves a ton of credit, man. But interestingly enough, the Niners haven't won a road game in a while, but not quite as long as the frickin' Buffalo Bills. Their last road victory was against the Packers in 2001. I believe they... was it 2001? Or it might not even have been against the Packers. I think it was, because I know the Niners kind of seem to own the Packers in the playoffs. Yeah, okay, it probably was that game. It was probably January 2001. It was that NFC Championship game in Lambeau. Everybody thought the Packers are going to the Super Bowl, and the Niners were like, no, you're not, basically. And it was kind of fun, because that was a really good Niners team that ultimately, unfortunately, lost to the freaking Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And boo, that's all I got to say about that. That was that 2019 season. That couldn't have been that game. Okay, I'm just losing it. So it was somewhere along the way. Yeah, yes. I think they beat the Packers and then lost to the Rams. That's what it was. I can't freaking remember. Yeah, 2000. Yeah, it was the 21 season. Lost to the Rams, I think, in the NFC Championship game with what's his face at quarterback, Mr. Garoppolo. I do believe that was the last one. So my apologies for my ignorance here. God darn it. I'm just typing around. I'm just being Mr. Typity. Typity. Yeah, it was the Packers. Yeah, January 22. Yep, okay. And I do believe, yep, that was when they lost the NFC Championship game. After that, to the yeah, it was 13-10. It was a low scoring game. Yep, with Garoppolo quarterback. And they lost to the Rams, yep, which I was really annoyed with. I wanted Cincinnati and San Francisco. We got LA, Cincinnati, and the Rams won it all. That was disappointing. Yuck. I hated that, man. Oh, I hated it. Yeah, it was the Cowboys in the first round. Yeah, because that was kind of a surprise to that 49ers team. Because they weren't as good as the team 2 years earlier. They just simply weren't. But they went on a bit of a playoff run there. Nice. Oh, yeah, I remember. January 2023. They narrowly beat the Falcons, went to the Super Bowl, and lost by in a crazy back and forth battle in the Harbaugh Bowl. Remember that? Yep. Randy Moss, old alligator arms all the way to the end of his career, couldn't bring the ball in for a game-winning touchdown. Man, alligator arms one last time. You son of a gun. Yep, that was disappointing to say the least. Very. But the 49ers end up surviving Philadelphia in a pretty decent football game. I mean, it was okay. No, it wasn't that good. It was pretty ugly. The one trick play from Jennings was appreciated by everybody. Purdy had his moments, but he also stunk. A couple of interceptions in the game. Kind of a defensive battle back and forth. The Philadelphia, again, pretty mediocre in the game. Didn't look like defending champions. Or maybe a little bit of like, yeah, we won last year, you know. They just weren't as good. Barkley was banged up a bit during the course of the game. Kind of had some scary moments, but still won it with 106 yards, but it took 26 carries to get there. But, I don't know, a well-fought battle, and the Niners were just slightly better down the stretch. Nice to see them win. Obviously, I'd love to see the 49ers go all the way, but it'd be quite a story if they did, but I don't know. I'm not too confident of what they would do after that if they did win. So that's the unfortunate fact of the whole thing. Sunday night, talk about ugly. The Niners-Eagles, it wasn't really ugly. It was kind of ugly. Could have been worse. Patriots-Chargers was extremely ugly. Chargers just like a team that their defense came to play, their offense didn't. They're kind of like the Vikings, honestly. Kind of like the Vikings this year. Kind of like the Vikings this year. Herbert looked kind of like McCarthy, 159 yards. He didn't have interceptions or anything, but quarterback rating of 74.5. Yeah, sounds like one of JJ's mediocre games. He did fumble twice in the game and lost it once. He is playing with a broken hand on his non-throwing arm, so, okay. Where McCarthy was playing with a fracture on his throwing hand. That's real smart. Good job, Viking coaches, on that one. Great call, not. 3 sacks for Owe of the Chargers. Their defense was absolutely great. And Mr. Drake May brought that up. Very impressive young man. He's a lot like, you could say he's like a McCarthy that's a lot more mature in a lot of ways. And my God, is he accurate. Oh, like he can complete a pass in such a small window, and it's amazing to see. He really can. And he wasn't all that great. It was a playoff opener. It was the first playoff game for his career, and it was against a great Chargers defense. This was a defensive battle back and forth, but May was clearly the superior quarterback, no doubt. Interestingly enough, he fumbled twice in the game. One of them was lost. So similar statistics there. Both guys ran for about 60 yards on the ground, which is really interesting. May could just play this game, though. I mean, the accuracy and all that definitely was better of the two, despite the fact May was sacked 5 times. 268 yards, though, completing passes. Very impressive along the way. Definitely the better quarterback. Not a great game for him in particular, but generally speaking, A well-played football game by Mr. Greg May. 2 sacks for Chiasson and Williams of the Patriots. And a couple other sacks as well. So 6 total sacks on the Patriots side. 5 sacks from the Los Angeles Chargers, who were clearly the inferior team. Patriots defense was smothering. Chargers offense was Vikings-like. And that's all you need to know about that. Chargers and Vikings. So when some people looked at the the Super Bowl logo, how it tends to kind of predict who the Super Bowl is going to be and the winner. Like last year, the dominant color was kind of a green with that. It was a green and reddish type of a logo with the Chiefs and the and ultimately you had the Chiefs and the Eagles, and the green was more dominant. So it's like, is Philadelphia going to win this year? Yeah, they did. They killed them. They smoked the Chiefs, and I don't think anybody was really complaining except maybe some of you in Kansas City. God bless you if you happen to be listening. Maybe you think I'm the biggest dummy ever, but no, that was I don't know. It's okay to be sick of the Chiefs. It really is. So the Super Bowl logo, a lot of people thought it could have been Vikings and Chargers, but I don't know. In 2026. Let's see what they're saying about it. Yeah, because it's doesn't it look like kind of a purple and blue? So who the heck could it be? I mean, it's not going to be the Lions. It's not going to be the Chargers. Maybe Buffalo. Maybe Buffalo and San Francisco. Maybe Buffalo and San Francisco. That might be the only one left. Or the Patriots. Yeah, Patriots are blue, but it's like a sky blue. That's what's kind of weird about it. I don't know, man. Yeah, let's see what this says. This looks like, to me, it looks like Buffalo, San Francisco. That's just my guess. Yeah, a lot of everybody's saying the Chargers, but I mean, they didn't even come close, so that's over. Awful lot like the LA Chargers. I agree. This could be a solid bet. A lot of people thought it'd be Vikings and Chargers. The Bills find a way to get over the hump. Da 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 da. It's Chargers everywhere because it looks just like the Chargers. Chargers versus Packers. That would have been funny. Some dark red though. Yeah, that could be the 49ers. Yep. Yep. Let's see if it's going to be Buffalo. See, just looking at this with the remaining teams. Yeah, you get some green and gold there, but it ain't going to be the Packers. They're done. I don't know. It looks like Niners and Bills to me, or Patriots actually. Still could be the Patriots, but it's probably going to be. I mean, from my vantage point, I think it is going to be one of the blue teams in the bowl, but you probably guessed that already. The last game was unreviewable. It was closer for a while, but Houston pulled away and kicked the Steelers' ass. I mean, what else is there to say? 30-6. Steelers are a far inferior team. The Texans have won like 11 games in a row now. It's utterly ridiculous. The Steelers did lead in the game, but yeah, it tells you how much that mattered. You know, I mean, the Vikings led in one of those Super Bowls, didn't they? And then it was just like, yeah, get out of here, which is depressing. But, yeah, Houston led the rest of the way after that. They scored a touchdown in the second quarter. It was a very low-scoring first half, 7-6, in favor of the Houston Texans, as the Steelers would add another kick from Chris Boswell. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was all Houston in the second half. They wound up with, 23 more points in the second half, and the Steelers wound up with absolutely nothing, including a scoop and score by Sheldon Rankins of the Houston Texans, of course. 33 yards, scoop and score. It was a strip sack type of deal with A-Rod, and maybe the last game he ever plays, and there'd be a crappy ending to a great career, but dare I say this to sound like a meanie? Dude, you're old. I don't know. Yes, I'm old too, so don't worry. I don't know. You can make fun of me too, yes. Stroud did have an interception, 86.7. He's not been the driving force of the Houston Texans, even though he's a wonderful quarterback and everything, but still with a nice future. But has he been the driving force of the Texans? No, it's their defense, and they've been unbelievable. Aaron Rodgers, 17 of 33. Interception thrown, no touchdowns, 146 yards, and that scoop and score. Fumbleitis, unfortunately, from Mr. A-Rod. Adam Thielen, maybe his last game, and he probably will be. 2 catches, 25 yards for Adam Thielen, both of them for first down, so God bless him. But A-Rod and Adam Thielen possibly on their way out the door for good. We'll see. But I can't imagine people clamoring for their services, especially Thielen, but some teams are desperate for a quarterback and everything. And are you that close to winning a championship with to bring in a 43-year-old guy? I don't know. I mean, you must have the best defense in the history of the world. Like, you know who should bring in A-Rod? It would be like the Houston Texans or something with that defense. Maybe. But, no, not the Patriots. They have their quarterback of the future, and I'm willing to call him the future best quarterback in the league, because I think he is. So the next round, let's get moving for the sake of time. Apologize if this is dragging, maybe. Nah, it really isn't. Maybe it is. I don't know. But the Saturday games will be the Buffalo Bills visiting the Denver Broncos to open up Saturday afternoon, the 17th of January. Buffalo Bills. Let's go to the AFC first. Let's do it in chronological order, just to be whatever we are. Do it in chronological order. Buffalo Bills will be visiting the Denver Broncos. And, allow me to gloat for a millisecond here. Who picked every game perfectly this weekend? That's right. Yes, I did. I had a perfect weekend. We'll see if I can do it again. Very unlikely, but if I do, that'd be wonderful. Just because, maybe not wonderful, because one team I want to win, but I probably can't pick them. I mean, I really want them to win. Heck, two of them, both in the NFC. I do think, three of them really, in the one in the AFC too. I think, we'll see if I'm right. I'm going to stick to my guns, though, that the Buffalo Bills do upset the Denver Broncos, and I think a lot of people expect that. And I not only predict that, I want it to happen, obviously. I want it to happen, but I do think it absolutely can. I think Josh Allen is hungrier than bleepity bleep, and I think it's time for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to at least get to the AFC title game, maybe the whole Super Bowl here, and it'd be a wonderful story. They've been great all year. They just didn't win their damn division because of the New England Patriots. That's all. Patriots won more games. That's the only difference. And the stupid Broncos are the number one seed is annoying. I don't know. But we all know what happened last time they had the number one seed in 2015. It's like, how did they get that? How did they get the number one seed? They're not going to win anything. Yeah, they did. They won the Super Bowl 2015 with Gary Kubiak as head coach. Pretty crazy. But well-deserved for that team. They had a great, great, great defense. Great defensive coordinator in Wade Phillips. It was just a team. That's why the Denver Broncos won that Super Bowl, because they were a team. God bless them. They had they had an old quarterback, 39, and Peyton Manning, who was way past his prime, but the defense was insane. And, Carolina just wasn't ready to win the Super Bowl. That's all. They just weren't. So, unfortunately for them, they just weren't ready to win that thing. Crazy to think they've been to two of them, but they didn't win. At the end of the day, the Broncos were by far the superior team in that game. I think in this case, I think Buffalo's the superior team. They'll win it. It'll be a close battle, but I think Buffalo's going to win it out in the end, and I kind of hope they do. I think they absolutely can. It may be a very similar type of game to Jacksonville, where it'll be quite a showing, and there'll be a lot of lead changes, but Buffalo ends up coming out on top by 3, approximately. New England and Houston. Well, Houston hasn't lost a game since like October or something. I mean, when's the last time Houston lost a football game? They've been just sick. They've been amazing. They're 13-5 because you include the playoff win. They finished 12-5 after starting off the season like, dogs. They weren't going to make any playoffs. Like, Houston in the playoffs? Ha! Get out of here. They're not going to no playoffs. That's a joke. They opened up the season. What's going on? Yeah, they opened up the season 0-3. Like, that's freaking horrible. They lost to the Rams. Maybe that's the Super Bowl. Who knows? I doubt it. They lost to the Bucks. They lost to the Jaguars. Then they won a couple in a row, crushing Baltimore 44-10. They went on the bye. They lost another one to the Seahawks. Wow. They beat the Niners. Wow. And then they got beat by the Broncos by only 3. And that was their last loss on November 2nd. So that was their 5th loss. They had won. They were 3-5. They were kind of hanging in there, and they haven't lost since. They've been unbelievable. But I think, unfortunately for the Houston Texans, you can guess where I'm going here. I think their winning streak ends in Foxborough, also known as Gillette Stadium. The New England Patriots will beat the Houston Texans. It should be a fairly close game, but I think the Patriots will just be simply the better team. Houston has every right to go out there and get the job done because they've been unbelievable. I mean, again, what have they won? 10 in a row. So it was 9 in a row getting into the season. So now it's officially 10 in a row because you had that playoff victory over the Steelers tonight, an absolute ass whooping. It was a below average division champion team in the Steelers. Probably maybe the weakest team in the whole postseason, honestly. Panthers clearly were better than the Steelers. They would have beaten the Steelers in a playoff game. They would have. Clearly they would have. They almost beat the Rams. So that tells you something about the Panthers versus the Steelers or whatever. They would have won. This should be an epic football game. And some might even tell you this could be the one that the winner goes to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to go to that yet. I think it's Buffalo and New England is not only the one that gets to the Super Bowl but wins it. Everybody's basically thinking the NFC is going to win this year, like it's going to be the Seahawks or the Rams. Some people even pick the Jaguars to win the Super Bowl. But Seahawks or Rams, no, it's going to be the Patriots or Bills are going to win the Super Bowl this year, as far as I'm concerned. I think the Patriots win by a touchdown along the way. I'm not sure the exact score, but I think maybe something like 27-20. But the Patriots win the football game in a pretty close battle. But the Patriots will be notably the better team, and we'll get to the AFC Championship game at the end of the day. So I did do both of the, even though this is a Sunday game. Whoops. So no chronological order here. So the AFC will be Buffalo and New England. That's my belief. That is my belief. So we'll go to Los Angeles Chargers visiting the Chicago Bears. Bears are going to have to play a lot the frick better than they did against the Packers. That's all I got to say about that, because otherwise they're going to be the underdogs here. So chronologically, this will be the final game of the weekend, 5:30 p.m., which is a lot better than, Monday night. It's to be a Sunday night game. Bears hosting the Rams. The home field should be helpful. The last time these two teams went in the postseason was 40 years ago. 1985. Well, yeah, the 85 season into 1986 January. What was it like? It was a shutout, wasn't it? So pretty wild. Yep, 1985 season. Oh, you suck. Yeah, NFC Championship game. Of course, they're going to probably say it was the year before, like Los Angeles Rams and Bears. It was a 24-0 shutout. The 85 Bears shut out the Rams. Far inferior team. I mean, the Rams were good, but they were an inferior team to the 85 Bears because everybody was. It was on January 12th, today, 40 years ago today, 1986. 40 years ago today. As by the time you're listening to this, it'll be the 13th, but whatever. Heck, by the time I'm done with this show, it'll be the 13th. But the Bears, that's the only playoff game they've had, isn't it, over the years? That's crazy to think. I'd like to believe the Bears will remain undefeated versus the Rams, but I don't know, betting money would say the Rams are going to beat the Bears on Sunday. Oh, man. They struggled against the Panthers, and the Bears are an ever-capable team. I think the Bears absolutely can win the game. I think they can. I think they absolutely can. Caleb Williams, he's been wonderful. He's been wonderful. I mean, the Bears haven't been spectacular, and I think they're still building something in Chicago where they may have a better record next year. Maybe not, depending on how things go. But Rams are probably the better team here. It could be a back and forth battle, but the Rams end up winning by like 4 or something, 31-27, something like that. That's what I don't want the Rams to win, but I think they will. I think the Rams win, unfortunately. I'm not happy about that, but it is what it is. San Francisco going to Seattle. I am a 49ers fan. I mean, you could probably tell. Obviously, Vikings first. I'm a Patriots and Niners fans. Like how you have the second favorite team in the NFC and you have your favorite AFC team. I mean, it is what it is. It's okay to do that. I don't think it's against the law. I don't think it makes you a stupid fan or anything. It's okay. The Vikings aren't playing, and I want to enjoy this. And, going back to the days of Joe Montana, Steve Young, of course, the 49ers there's an aura in San Francisco that's just, there's a charm, especially to the classic look that they have that is almost impossible to match. And quite frankly, even the Bears bring that. It's just kind of that 80s vibe that, the Bears bring you back to the 80s, so do the Niners, and something special about that. Whereas the Brady era with the Patriots, I was a fan, okay? Sorry if that offends you. I don't like the Seahawks at all. Their defense is wonderful. God bless Mr. What's-his-face, Sam Darnold. Unfortunately, George Kittle it's an ankle, but it sounds like an Achilles type of thing. So boy, do I want the Niners to win this game. I mean, you have no idea how much. And if they show up and get it done, that'd be wonderful. But their last showing versus Seattle just sucked. It was garbage. It was awful. It was depressing. And I think it's going to be kind of similar, unfortunately. So, yeah, basically it's going to be the frickin' Seahawks and the Rams. I know, it sucks. So, let's go Buffalo Bills or New England Patriots, as far as I'm concerned, yes. And I don't doubt that either one of those teams can and will win the Super Bowl if they get there. I'm sticking with the Patriots and the Seahawks. I'm sticking with that early prediction. Maybe it'll be right, maybe it won't. And remember all those years ago, it was Patriots and Seahawks in the Super Bowl. I was perfect all the way down the line, and I picked the New England Patriots to beat that Seahawks team, and the New England Patriots beat that Seahawks team. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year. Drake May becomes that next guy. Will he have surpassed Patrick Mahomes by winning the Super Bowl this year? No, but I do think he's the next best quarterback in the league. He's got the personality, he's got the gamesmanship, he's got the ability, the leadership ability as well. He's the next best quarterback in the NFL. Wish the Vikings could have had him, but hopefully McCarthy can be like a similar version of him in the future, like a Burrow. Hopefully one that can get over the hump. Both of them won national championships, including when you talk about Burrow and McCarthy. Hopefully both of them can wear a ring. Who knows? Maybe Burrow will be the Vikings quarterback next year. Who knows what's going to happen at the offseason? But I'm going to stick with the Patriots and Seahawks in the Super Bowl, with the New England Patriots winning it. So that's going to be that. Quickly to fan interaction. Unfortunately, I didn't even post a thread. Over the years, people haven't really responded in them anyway. I've posted threads and there's nothing there in the postseason. It's like everybody just kind of goes dormant when the Vikings are out in the playoffs. It's kind of sad. Like, it shouldn't have to be that way, should it? So much for the strawberry shake. It's frozen solid. That was cute. Yes, people are saying the stage is set for Rodgers to come to the Vikings. It's not going to happen. Aaron Rodgers will not be the Vikings quarterback. Come on, people. I don't think he plays another game. I don't think he does, and I don't think he should. Only one post, and thankfully it's from an amazing person. That would be Mad Martin. Dave Martin says, that crappy Bears game that ended up getting better, thankfully. I was saying an amazing 25-point comeback by the Chicago Bears. I love that. Mad Martin says it's rather depressing. The Bears are clearly on the ascendancy now. Okay, so that's what he sees as depressing because they're ascending. Yes, the Bears are definitely ascending. I'm happy they won that game, though, because I'd rather see them win than the Packers. But, yeah, the other fear was, imagine if Micah Parsons was healthy and the Packers were the home team and they had a far superior record, possibly, which they might have. Maybe they would have won 13 games this year, and that would have been rather depressing as well. So it is what it is. I don't despise the Bears like I despise the Packers, and even the Lions got annoying at times. But especially last year, my God, that was frustrating the way they stomped us into the ground and kind of like made us like it, that kind of thing. I didn't like that very much. What is all this stuff that popped up? Holy cow, that's a lot of windows. Or tabs, excuse me, tabs. Let's use the correct terminology here, Mr. Nerd Joey. But yes, it is what it is. Patriots will win the Super Bowl. And again, it is what it is that there's probably not much posts here from people. But I appreciate you, Mad Martin. I really do. And it is what it is that I didn't post any damn thread. So it's kind of my own stupid fault. Oh, please. I'm getting more nonsense here. I just can't deal with it anymore. People love to bug you and bug you and bug you. And, yeah, look at this nonsense. Wow. Anyhow, it's not related to anything, so apologize. It's just nonsensical stuff that's not related to Purple Mafia or the NFL playoffs, and I don't think there's any posts. There might be, actually. Nope, that's not related. Nope, so that's it. Thank you, Mad Martin, Dave Martin. So that's why you do a one-segment shot in that situation. So love you, Mad Martin. Maybe one last ditch effort here. There may have been a call-in. You never know. I could imagine somebody doing a end-of-the-year call-in. And anybody's welcome, or talk about the playoffs. Or you're just like, screw it, I don't want to say anything. Just make 100% sure here. I don't believe there is. No, I don't believe there is a call-in. It's already the 12th. It's already the 12th, and I'm going back into last year. So, no call-ins. So, and if there is, I deeply apologize. I'm not intentionally ignoring your call. So, Let me know if you call. That'd be great. Otherwise, Purple Mafia Show for Twitter, Purple Mafia Show for Instagram, for Facebook, of course. Look up Purple Mafia Show on there. Yeah, YouTube as well. I'd like to get back on that again. It'd be nice to talk about a Super Bowl champion Vikings team on there. Wouldn't that be great? But otherwise, if you could put a 5-star rating for Purple Mafia on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever, share the show around if you can. Yeah, we'll see how things go at the end of the day. What is that beeping? That shouldn't even be on. What the hell? My apologies. But with that said, thank you so much for listening. God bless you. And yeah, go Patriots, go Bills, go Niners, go Bears. That'd be nice. Don't want to see those other teams to win.